Delhi's AQI has again come under the scanner, so much so that the Commission for Air Quality Management has implemented the rules of GRAP 3, and everywhere the eyes can see there is a thick smog that has engulfed the city. This makes the city unlivable for these 2 months. Are the netas not interested in the plight of the residents of Delhi? For the next half an hour or so, we talk to eminent citizens of the city to know what they think and what they feel can be done. First up, joining us on the show is Mr. Suhail Seth, author. Suhail, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. Well, first question is something that we've all noticed. Have you felt any difference in the Delhi air in the past few weeks?
Absolutely. I do about 8 to 9 kilometers of walking every evening. And over the last 10 to 14 days, there has been a remarkable decline in the air quality, which has been borne out by all the various reports that are sent out by various government departments. It is abominable and shameful that Arvind Kejriwal and his goddamn cohorts, who every year blame Punjab, today Punjab is as responsible for stubble burning as it was earlier. But today Arvind Kejriwal is silent. These jokers wake up every year late. They know that this stubble burning will happen. They don't take any corrective measures. Then the stupid thing that Kejriwal and his jokers will do is they will say odd, even nonsense. Schools ko band kar do. Does this man have no bloody responsibility? Every goddamn day he's escaping either from the law or from his responsibilities. And no one can do anything. I would urge the Supreme Court under Chief Justice Dhananjay Chandrachud to take suo motu action. It is not about the courts, it is not about Kejriwal, it is not about Suhail Seth, it's not about Aditi. It is about our children. It is about our senior citizens. It's about the collective health of daily wagers, of people who work and live, almost live in the outdoors. Are we not responsible as a country? Are we not responsible as a society? I'm glad that NewsX is doing this, but even the news channels, every year they wake up when the stubble burning happens. Why don't you, under NewsX, you have such a great editorial team, you launch an annual campaign, an year-round campaign, which puts these jokers on the mat. The tragedy is no one is making these fellows accountable. Everyone gets taken in by liquor scam, this scam. Let me tell you, liquor, these guys will go to jail. But for this air quality, people will die. This is a far more serious issue than that liquor scam.
Suhail, are you finding it difficult to be in Delhi at this time? Because a number of people leave Delhi when the atmosphere gets so terrible.
Absolutely. What do you think I'm telling you? It's impossible. So I'm now traveling. Not that that most other cities, but Goa is far better. Bombay is again suffering. I'm in Bombay right now. It's again suffering. The AQI is about 215. I don't know what's going on in this country. No one seems to care. It's almost as if this is a rich man's problem. Actually, it is not a rich man's problem. It is a problem of the people who are marginalized because they will not even have access to, these air purifiers and all that other nonsense. So please remember, and this is a message going out to all politicians, irrespective of which party, that you are causing long-term damage. Many people I know, young couples, are having children, giving birth to children outside Delhi and the NCR, because doctors have told them that if you have childbirth in that city, your child will be on a nebulizer from the moment the child is born. Is this the country we want? Is this the $1 trillion economy nonsense that we keep mouthing? Someone's got to take these things seriously. But as I said, this has also become an annual feature. Mujhe malum hai, come October, come November, we will have these discussions on television. When the air quality improves, the discussions will end. So where's the solution? I'm a solution-driven person. Where is the solution is the question that NewsX must ask.
You're absolutely right. There must be a solution. Suhail, have you or anybody in your family faced any health problems because of this pollution?
Yeah, obviously. We don't know. It's a silent killer. It's not that every day I'm going to the hospital to check ki bhai theek hai sab. Obviously, your breathing becomes difficult. you develop a cough, you have chest congestion. These are all symbols, these are all signals of what's happening with the air quality. Plus, you have all these newspapers telling you, television channels telling you. We're not exactly living in a cave that we don't know that this is causing damage to our health.
Well, does the level of smoke in Delhi's air shock you, Sohail? And do you think pollution is Delhi's biggest problem? Or do you think it's something else?
I don't know how young or old you are, but do you remember when Barack Obama came once as officially as president? He even carried oxygen with him. I mean, is that the kind of India we want to promote? Is that it's Atati Deva a choke? It's not even Bhave. So someone's got to take charge of this.
What people do is, they go and buy purifiers during these 2 months. Have you bought air purifiers for your home and office?
Yeah, I have tons of air purifiers, but I'm not the problem or the solution. There are people who can't afford air purifiers, and why should we have air purifiers? By that logic, please have worse law and order because we will be locked up in our homes. I mean, what kind of logic is that?
Do you think it's ironic, Sohail, that Delhi is perhaps the best when it comes to weather in October and November, and those are exactly the 2 months when Delhi is starting to become unlivable because of pollution?
It has become unlivable, period, because we have clowns running Delhi. These are non-serious people. I had a lot of hope from Kejriwal. I'll be honest with you. But, from what I see, and they have some very good people in their party. But, I'm not seeing any results on the ground. I publicly on television praise their Mohalla clinics and their drive in education. But, they've also got to recognize that there are challenges that they must address. No one seems to be addressing this challenge. That's my problem. My problem is you cannot say Arvind Kejriwal is responsible for air quality. He's not a farmer who's burning the stubble. But his party's government is in power in Punjab. Earlier they used to abuse when Captain Amrinder Singh was chief minister. Before that, when Badal was chief minister. Now, bhai, aapka aadmi hai. This is your second year in power. Why the hell can't you address this problem before? Why do we always wake up late when the horses have bolted the stable?
And Sohail, this is happening to the capital. How do you think the Delhi's pollution problem will impact the image of the capital? If more and more people begin to leave Delhi, we are looking at a huge crisis.
More people will begin to leave Delhi. Less people will want to visit Delhi. And people who are in Delhi will fall ill. Who will bear that expense? Especially for the marginalized section, the government. So where the government should actually be looking at development, they'll be looking at, filling up hospitals and taking care of people because of an issue that they have not been willing to address.
So here, last question before we let you go. Why do you think there is so much apathy from the netas who are running Delhi?
Because they are reasonably unintelligent, self-serving, greedy, viciously vicarious, and viciously, driven by avarice. That's why they are the way they are. And, for them, it's easy, yeah. But as long as it doesn't bother me. Now, they breathe the same air, but obviously, unki constitution alag hogi. They must be eating something that you and I don't eat. So what you need to do is shove a camera into their homes and figure out what is it that they eat ki unko kuch nahi hota. Because everyone else is falling ill. Those guys are robust. I mean, unless they die, but otherwise they're robust. You remember Kejriwal used to cough. Now, after so many years in power, even that cough has disappeared. So they must be eating something right. So why don't you find out, do an investigation on NewsX. What is it that Kejriwal eats? That he's fine and we're all, screwed.
Sohail, always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for speaking with NewsX. Joining us at this point in time is also Aarti Mehra, former mayor of Delhi. Dikshu Kukreja, renowned architect, is also going to be joining us momentarily. Sandeep Chatra, human rights defender, also joins us on the program to talk about this glaring issue which you've had to deal with for ages and ages, but like Suhail also said, that politicians haven't done much about it. What they eat, what impacts them is not really clear, but the fact of the matter is that the health of every Delhiite, rich or poor or marginalized, is being affected as a result of this crisis. Aarti Mehra, former mayor of Delhi, I'll come to you. Aarti ji, this is an issue that we have to deal with every year. Every year it's the same agenda. Every year it's the same problem. Political parties have come and gone in Punjab. Things have changed in and around us as well. But Delhi continues to be polluted to a level where it's actually become a chimney of sorts. It's equivalent to smoking 20 cigarettes a day for a person who does not even smoke. Suhail Seth just mentioned that there are no solutions that are being run by the current government. What do you think is the actual issue? And how can we prioritize health of the people living in the city?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes, this pollution is actually taking the breath away. The Delhi walas are in a bad shape, and winters and the bad air combined together, it's going to have a real bad impact on our health. It has a short-term as well as long-term effects, and it's very bad for asthma, for heart diseases, for ear, nose, throat. Everything is, there is and especially for children. And a lot to be done. There were very tall claims were made by Kejriwal and his party. And they used to blame the Pirali, Haryana and Punjab. Now Punjab is actually very, very bad. It's almost 76% cases from Punjab itself. Now you have your own government there. You are running Delhi. And instead of coming down, this smoke, mind you, it hasn't become the smog so far because there is no fog, there is no kora. So the smoke is so bad, it's increasing. Yesterday was so bad. So जिसे कहते हैं ना दिल्ली धुआं धुआं, और इस धुएं में बच्चे और elderly people, they are badly impacted, and they are they made such tall promises and they do nothing. All their smoke towers are shut, nothing is working because they don't take any kind of decision on time. Now last minute Mr. Gopal Rai is going on the construction site, but he doesn't see the roadside where they are supposed to make the payment, where they are supposed to do the kind of a dust coming. They are supposed to sprinkle water, they have to, we will do that, we will do this, and we'll, and this is because of that, this is so, it's all lame excuses. Kejriwal has failed to fulfill his duty in any of the, as far as Yamuna is concerned, badly failed. And center is contributing a lot. You see, in reducing the pollution level, the Eastern and Western Periphery Express Highway, that has also helped. Besides that, you are not taking any step which you are supposed to take. So it's a matter of great concern.
Mr. Chachra, the right to breathe is a fundamental right of sorts as well, right? And what kind of, a weight or what kind of a responsibility should be placed on the government of the day for denying the citizens of Delhi and elsewhere in the country as well, the paucity of proper air? This is in fact, we are adults, but for children and the elderly, this is going to be wreaking a kind of havoc which is going to be silent, it's going to be surreptitious, and it's going to stunt growth, and it's going to cut lives. It's not being taken as seriously as it should be.
I was just reading somewhere earlier. It's atrocious to know that on an average in Delhi, I'm speaking to Delhi now, we are losing about more than 10% of our life expectancy. These are recent studies. This is the Energy Policy Institute study, recently released. Some years ago, it used to be 9.7%, sort of 9% of our life that we were losing. It's atrocious to know that. In fact, you were mentioning about the right to breathe. Mumbai daily, in Mumbai, Sohail, you were speaking earlier, and he was mentioning AQI levels at 215 plus. Some days ago, it was 400, and even the Indian cricket team was worried how it will play that match today. In Mumbai, the Mumbai Daily ran a title, which I'd like to quote here, Death by Breath. So it's an atrocious situation that we have. And it's not just Delhi now, Vinayji. Delhi, of course, the epicenter, and the same study that I was quoting lists 39 Indian cities out of the 50 top most polluted cities in the world. But coastal cities in India as well, Mumbai, for instance, are in precarious conditions at the moment. And you were talking about this whole question of fleeing Delhi. Yes, it is a class question. People flee Delhi, those who can afford. They used to earlier go in the heat wave time. Now we see in Himachal, in Uttarakhand, in the hill stations around Delhi, people going and staying in homestays for a month, 2 months. So those who can afford to flee, they flee Delhi. But those who are the working people of Delhi, the lakhs and lakhs of them, the construction workers, the domestic workers, the people who clean the city, the people who make the city actually have nowhere to go. So they themselves, their families, their children, the women within the workers, they have to face this every day. So not only do they lose lifespans, as I was mentioning, but to them the burdens are immense. The burdens of wage losses, for instance. We were speaking to this response, or the knee-jerk response that the government of Delhi does every year by implementing the phase 2 or the phase 3 of the graded action response plans, the GRAP. Which would mean in the coming days, we might see the possibility that construction activities where 10 lakh or plus workers are employed in Delhi and many others will be shut down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So you can anticipate workers, and they have lost it in the past years as well, losing wages for those days. So this is the sort of situation, and we are turning to a specter, what I would call what in population studies, we call the Malthusian crisis points. When the population grows hugely, because of population pressures, the inversion happens. Here, we are likely to see those Malthusian crisis points coming not from population pressures, but coming from pollution pressures, bad urban planning, bad urban thinking, bad urban designing. The cities today are ones in perpetual renovation. So if you travel Delhi, any time of the year, Vinayji, you will see construction and construction and construction and reconstruction and redevelopment, large areas of land being handed out to developers, road widening going on to entice and invite more and more guzzlers, the vehicular traffic, which amounts to a large percentage of the Delhi sort of pollution. Some estimates say up to 60% of the pollution, air pollution, is on account of vehicular traffic, and yet we see no end to it. So what is needed is not only litigations, as you were asking what should be done, not only litigations on the question of right to breathe by the citizenry to the response to the governments of the day, but what also is needed is a huge turning point and a transition into what a paradigm shift, if I may call it, into the question of urban development. And to me, the dialogue will be turning to ecological cities, planning with nature. What we have seen, and I have been a resident of Delhi for the past 20 years or so, what I have seen is, instead of green infrastructure, instead of greening the city, the green lungs of the city, expansion of water bodies in the city, expansion of forest bits in the city, expansion of other urban greens, urban agriculture, what you see instead is grey infrastructure. So more and more concrete, more and more buildings. So this is the result that you get today. The main, if I may say, the main sort of factors in the pollution today, they need to be addressed. The first of which is vehicular traffic. The second of which is concrete batching of the construction sites where you mix sand, gravel, cement. These need to be monitored and actively stopped. The third is industrial pollution. Delhi has a lot of small industries in and around, in Delhi and in NCR. So these need to be monitored. And what you need, Viniji, is actually people-centered policies where people have oversight, Viniji, to ensure there's some enforcement to these that are needed. You need to make sure that we have effective public transport. We were talking in another time of the shortage of 5,000 or so buses in Delhi. If you take the country as a whole, it's probably run to 10 lakh buses. So you need public, greener buses, green buses. You need that last mile connectivity. You need to make sure that you have alternate mobility development. About 11 lakh are existing number of cyclists in Delhi, and you see there's no cycle paths. Some small initiatives which were largely failed have been made because there are no cycle paths in Delhi. So you need to ensure that you transition to greener mobility systems and pathways, develop pedestrian paths, develop cycling paths, and ensure that we don't get into knee-jerk reactions, which seems to be the case every year. Come October, come September, come November, every year we see these knee-jerk reactions and knee-jerk sort of announcements that tomorrow this will start, after this will start.
Right, so we've run out of time. I'm just going to take some quick thoughts from Aarti ji on what the solutions can be. And, if one part of the government is failing to implement things that will be permanent solutions, then what can the central government or, the legal system do in these matters, ma'am?
Well, as far as central government is concerned, I just mentioned about the western eastern periphery, which has helped reducing the pollution. Number two, we have given almost 2,465,000 crores rupees for Yamuna cleaning, which the Delhi government misused to utilize the funds, and they did actually nothing for Yamuna cleaning. As far as the electric buses are concerned, he said that I'll turn Delhi into Paris. So electric buses also, 300 buses recently have been given by the central government. So as far as Kejriwal AAP government is concerned, they did nothing. They are clueless. One thing, they are clueless. Secondly, they are deep into corruption. They are only into making money and blaming others. They used to blame Punjab, they used to blame Haryana, they used to blame central government. But finally, like if you see, Punjab is with them and they are not being able to do anything. A very recent survey was done. 32,000 people, they were interviewed, they had given their feedback. Out of 32,000, the 78% people, they said that one or the two family members, they are ill. Either they have throat problem, asthma, people are in a bad shape. The pregnant women, it's a major concern, and a major concern for the senior citizens. And there is a concern for children. Eyes are watery, nose is watery, ears are irritated. There is so many problems going on, and they do nothing but a tamasha. Now you will see on the road, red light on, red light off, your engine off, engine on. Only you will see big board with Kejriwal name and photograph. You will see on the crossing. And Mr. Gopal Rai is just going around at the construction site and doing nothing, He's saying we have reached almost 360 today, and after 400 we'll stop the construction. This is what they do. They do nothing constructive. They didn't work on their smoke towers. They made tall promises and they failed badly, and they failed Delhi also. People are very upset with them. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. Appreciate you joining us. Mr. Chacha, thank you so much for speaking with us and taking out the time.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.